some pretty big news on the way for Season 2. If you guys missed it, today is October the 4th. We just got a giant dev blog update kind of video. Lasted about 2 hours, I believe. Going over all the changes that are going to be coming in Season 2, quality of life changes and stuff. So I don't make this video super long. We're going to just dive right in and just fast ball it. We're just going to go through it as fast as we can. Pretty much Season 2 set for October 17th. If you guys haven't been keeping up with the news, we also have another video coming on the 10th talking about class updates and stuff. So this video is basically going to be talking about Season 2, the vampire thing, gimmick that's coming. And also, we have a bunch of quality of life things to go over. So we're going to jump on into it. I'm not going to go over everything about the season that's coming. Feel free to pause the video at any point just to check it out for yourself. It's just vampiric powers. It does seem to be a lot better than malignant powers on the surface. I mean, obviously, we need the season to release to kind of dive in here. It does seem pretty cool on the outside looking in. But until we can get our hands on it, we don't really know exactly what to expect from these vampiric powers. They do go over a giant list here. I will link this blog in the description below if you want to check it out for yourself if I'm going too fast or something. But they do go over a lot of vampiric powers, how to get them. You have to do like this whole pack thing that seems kind of a little convoluted. It's probably pretty easy though. But yeah, you can go through this and check all these things out for yourself. The more important things, in my opinion, I mean, don't get me wrong, Season 2 stuff is pretty cool, but the more important things coming are the quality of life changes that are coming. Now, here's a thing that they showed on the video of how, like, it's basically a tree explaining, like, how your flow of progression went. 1 to 50, 50 to 70, 71 to 100. Well, this is kind of how it currently is. And like I said, anytime you want to pause the video to check this out, there's nothing hidden behind my camera here. You can see. So check that out. And then here is the new style of progression that's coming with Season 2. Kind of exciting. Seems like there's a whole lot more things to do, right? So, I mean, we got more returning bosses with Echoes of Rashan. We have some new bosses with this Grigor Galvanic Saint. Not Galvanic. We have a Beast in the Ice. We have Duriel, King of Maggots, not Uber Duriel, making a comeback. That's really exciting. We'll see. Now, according to the devs, the Duriel fight is going to be like a notch lower than what Echo of Lilith is. So, Echo of Lilith is still going to be the pinnacle, you know, going to kick your ass kind of thing. But Duriel is going to be what everyone is, you know. There's also a higher drop rate for Uber uniques from Duriel. There is that. So I think everyone's going to be aiming for Duriel more than Echo of Lilith. No one likes the Echo of Lilith fight. They didn't discuss anything about changing it. Seems like it's still going to be one-shot city. Duriel might not be that. We'll just have to wait and see. But pretty exciting. Duriel, our boy, gets a comeback. We just need Endariel next. Let's see what else we got here. This is just discussing the bosses that we just kind of went over. I mean, this is, the ice boss, the lightning boss. Duriel apparently is super poison, so bring your poison pots. Some new things with mounts. This is kind of cool. Like, this is just new cosmetics that you're going to get for fighting these things, right? Pretty cool looking things. You get a little diadem here. You get a flaming horse and some other things that are pretty neat. They discussed the season journey here a little bit. Of course, you know, your battle pass stuff. I'm not the biggest fan of the look of this. I don't know. Maybe it's just me, but, you know, if you guys think this stuff looks cool, like these little Batwing helmets, they look okay. You know, let us know in the comments down below of what you think of spending money for these things. You don't spend money for those. I think you just unlock those, if I'm not mistaken. I could be mistaken. Now, what you can spend money for is something like this. Now, see, this does look pretty sick. Not going to lie. It's probably going to... Now, as we know, the cash shop right now, $24 for fancy skins, right? This is going to be a prestige skin, so I'm guessing this is going to be like $30+, which will no. But moving on, something else that's really cool with the stash, you can now search your stash. You can search for legendary aspects, all the goodies they've listened. Blizzard finally came through with a stash update. We're not getting more stash. Okay, that's another thing we really wanted, but we are getting this. Also with gems are being fixed in an important way. If you play Diablo Immortal, I guess you can get a fancy skin. Gems are still going to be what they are. You can still socket them in your gear, obviously, but the gem drops that you get are going to be shards, which you take to the gem vendor, and create gems at that point. So they're not going to be cluttering up your inventory with 8+ slots of just random BS. Big thumbs up. Thank you, Blizzard. Thank you. And then it says, DLSS3 with NVIDIA stuff. Stay up to date. Now, they didn't go over everything in the blog, and we're going to kind of peek around a little bit of what I caught off the live stream. And we're going to discuss this a little bit. So there are some general improvements. So Scroll of Escape is now going to be consumed if you get disconnected. Big plus. Incense are going to be giving a bonus XP to everyone, and experience itself is now going to be multiplicative with world tier bonuses. This is huge. They announced that it would be about 40% faster to level from 1 to 100 or something. I think, no, from 50 to 100, I believe, is what they said was going to be 40% faster now. A lot more people are going to be level 100. That's a good thing, I think. It takes out some of the boring grind of 70 to 100. It got slow. They unlock more waypoints. They Renown, no longer have to grind Renown. Another big bonus. Overworld monsters in World Tier 3 and 4 no longer trail the player levels, so we don't have to put up with that mess anymore. That was kind of an annoying change. I didn't like that. There's going to be 2 additional character slots. That's nice. They're putting stashes everywhere, and here's an example of what I mean by that. So this is Kiovashad. Now we have stashes by the occultist. We have stashes by the jeweler. We have stashes, of course, where the OG stash in the pub or whatever this place was. Also, the Purveyor of Curiosities, the gambler, the ovals, is moved to the bar as opposed to being way down here out of the way. And there's also a stash next to the blacksmith. Saves you time. There's a lot of cool things. Things like that. They're small, but they mean a lot. Mounts are getting... Well, I'll just go over the mount thing right here. I don't have an actual screenshot of this that's by itself, but mounts are going to be more responsive, less likely to slow down randomly or get stuck. Their base movement speed of mounts is increased by 14%. Top speed remains unchanged. So that's kind of a big deal. The cooldown, this is huge. So something that we always complained about with mounts is if you got dismounted after instantly mounting, it was like, okay, now you got to wait and waste your time. No more. If you're forced dismount, you do still have to wait 15 seconds, but if you just dismount, you have to wait 5 seconds instead of 10 now. If you dismount to combat skill, goes from 10 seconds to 3. Cool. Nightmare Dungeons got some changes up to them now. We will now fully teleport to a Nightmare Dungeon instead of a double loading screens. Big increase. Dungeon event monster density has been increased. NPCs no longer get one shot in later world tiers. So, when you help the lady and her friends, finally, you can help the lady and their friends instead of them getting poisoned and die. Traps. Overall readability has been improved on traps. What they showcased was falling rocks in mine shafts. Now has a giant circle telling you, hey, don't go there. And CC overall has been greatly reduced. This is huge. CC is a big killer for us hardcore players and softcore players. So this is very important, very big news. CC has been nerfed. Yes, thank you. Paragon Glyph experience has been increased. What else do we got here? Nightmare Dungeon Afflictions. Backstabbers, everyone's favorite. Everyone's favorite to hate. No one liked Backstabbers. It was Rip City. I still don't see us playing with Backstabbers, but pretty much now they're just going to make you vulnerable, and the vulnerability damage is going to increase depending on the difficulty of the dungeon. So there's that to look at. Crit Resist, that's another one I probably won't mess with anymore. Still, like, this was always a skip. But, you know, it's better now. Here's a big one for hardcore players, too. Death Pulse no longer stacks on top of one another, so you can't get, like, 8 Death Pulses or more and just one-shot your character. There's also Lightning Storm. Lightning Storm got changed quite a bit, but I still don't see myself playing it until we learn it's not super buggy in hardcore anyway. So if you're in the bubble, you get a movement speed, which is kind of cool. Lightning Storm will only start when players are in combat. Lightning Storm will only start when players have a direct path to the bubble. We'll see about that. I'm going to let other people test it before me. There's also Drifting Shade. Persistent duration from 5 to 3 seconds. That's big. Respawn time increased by 2 seconds. Good. I hated that thing. It was annoying. All right. Then here's some juicy bits here. So objectives have been they've completely removed objectives from a handful of dungeons. Just go find the boss. Placed objectives on the critical paths throughout the dungeons. And what they mean by that, we'll go over one more thing here about the layout. They redesigned many dungeon layouts. Additional changes were made to a dungeon layout to limit backtracking while preventing the dungeon from feeling too linear. And here is a comparison. So essentially what they meant by this was, this is what it is currently in the Season of Malignant. You have your start. You're going up. I think you guys can see this. Yeah, you can. You have your start. You're going up. You take a path, right? If you go this route, oops, you missed everything. If you go this route, oh, here we go. There's enemies to fight, enemies to kill, and then go through here, fight the boss. Now, Season of Blood, you're going to start basically here, and it does look like a mirror opposite, but there is enough change to make this worthwhile. You're going to go straight. This door is locked, so you know this is the wrong way, but you're just going to go straight, make yourself a small loop, and then this is going to be completely optional if you just want to go straight to the boss. That's how I see it anyway. I think this is a good change, very good change. Dungeons were kind of annoying to get through, so that's a big change. World events got a big change. We're going to be notified basically a lot more for Legion events and world bosses. Also, the warning timer is going from 30 minutes to 60 minutes, and world bosses will spawn every 3.5 hours instead of 6. 6 hours was way too long in my opinion. So now people will, be able to do things, be able to do more world bosses. Helltide chests, now they have specific icons, so you don't have to hover over the chests themselves. Whisper caches adheres to the item slot of the cache. Experience has been substantially increased for Whispers and Helltides. We'll see about that. So is the gold reward for Whisper caches. They want us to do more Whisper caches, so that's the gist of that one. What else do we have here? UI UX changes. This was a big one. So items can now be marked as favorite or junk, not just junk. I know that's one that people have been asking for. Extracted aspects with the same legendary power will now be grouped together when sorted in the inventory and stash. Oh, thank you. Sorting of normal affixes on items has been improved to be more consistent. That's a good thing. Dungeon map tooltips that have active whispers associated with them will now display the aspect name and description earned when completing the dungeon as well. So that's bonus. And here's the best part. Your stash can now be searched and filtered more quickly. And here's just an example of what that looks like. You can look at the bottom here where they have all these different things all these different fancy buttons you can click. So that's a good thing. Streamer mode has been enabled. Yeah, it's good for a lot of people. It doesn't really bother us. I don't understand auto run being added, but I guess people were adding or asking for that. Combat text, you can now hide vulnerability, dodge, and fortify being popped up on your screen all the time. So that's a good thing for the people that wanted it. Your mini map can now be zoomed out farther and wider. Everybody likes that. Here's the important part about the gems from earlier. Gems no longer drop directly as rewards. Now players will earn gem shards materials or they can use that a jeweler to craft the gems. So that's huge. Enchantment costs have been updated. Basically going to be a little bit cheaper. They scale slower now instead of, 300K, 2 million. You know what I mean? You know how it gets a little crazy. Crafting materials will drop in place of lower item power, normal, magic, rare equipment, and world tiers 3 and 4. This is huge. We no longer have to pick up all the junk to get crafting mats. It's just done for you. So a lot less going from dungeon to town, if you pick up everything, or like me, ignore it. Then pretty much the last thing that they had, or last couple of things that they had here. This is big too. Higher level monsters in World Tier 3 and 4 will drop sacred and ancestral items of greater item power potential. Normal Whisper Cache rewards now provide plus 10 item power. Upgraded caches now provide plus 20 item power. Helltide caches reward plus 20 item power. Now, what they discussed in the video was the higher dungeon difficulty, you could get up to like what would be the equivalent of roughly 920 item power on your gear. I don't know if it would directly say item power 920 or anything like that, but correct me if I'm wrong. It's pretty much like the armor, the resistances that you get on your jewelry, which, again, will be buffed. We don't know the details yet. We will on the 10th, but resistances will be, increased to that 920 level if you do, dungeon level 100 plus or up to 100. So, that's an interesting thing. Fight harder monsters, get better rewards. That's what we want. And last but not least, and I do got to make fun of this just a little bit, Diablo IV is coming to Steam. You no longer have to use the Blizzard launcher if you don't want to, but you will have to buy the game again. I don't know. No. If you want to play on your Steam Deck, $59.99 or however much it is. But that's pretty much it for the first update that we got here. I think it was huge. Let me know in the comments what you think. Let me know what you're most excited for. Let me know what you think is stupid that I'm hyped up for. I'm pretty much hyped for everything except for Diablo coming to Steam. I'm not really excited for that, but let us know in the comments what you think. Hope you enjoyed the video. We're going to get on back to streaming now. But if you guys want to follow me, there's a list of things right over here. If you'd like to follow me on Twitter, on Instagram, on YouTube. Well, you're probably watching on YouTube right now. But Twitch itself is fire_Raven if you'd like to check us out on Twitch live stream. We do play with viewers. If you play hardcore, you play D4, come play with us. Come play with us. Anyway, we're going to get on out of here. Big news. Thumbs up, Blizzard. Good job. Looking more forward to the 10th. Class updates on the 10th. We're going to go over them right here, too. Y'all be good.